Julia carried the shame of her first rejection for 7 years. Now successful and strong, she faced the man who broke her heart only to find the ruthless businessman was the one desperately in need of mercy. Julia, now 25, walked through the pristine glass-walled halls of her own burgeoning tech firm. She had transformed the deep, searing pain of her past humiliation into a multi-million-dollar success, using ambition as her most effective shield. The past, specifically the cruel public rejection by Billy Thorne at her high school graduation, was a distant, dull ache, no longer defining her. But her carefully constructed peace shattered when her assistant announced an unscheduled meeting. Standing rigidly in her reception area was Billy Thorne. He was sharper, older, and somehow more devastating in his expensive rumpled suit, but his dark eyes held a profound weariness, not the arrogant dismissal she remembered. He was here, not as a superior to scorn her, but as a desperate supplicant. His family's massive corporate legacy, the Thorne Group, was collapsing, and he desperately needed her firm's cutting-edge technology to save it. "Julia," he started, his voice rough with emotion and shame, "I know I have no right to ask. I know the history, but I need your help. I need your company's expertise to save mine." Julia's heart hammered a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She was no longer the naive 18-year-old he scorned. She was his only lifeline. The role reversal was absolute, offering her a powerful, unexpected opportunity for resolution, if not outright revenge. Julia escorted Billy into her private office, a space of steel and glass, designed to symbolize her absolute control and hard-won success. She sat behind her immense mahogany desk, savoring the view of the man who once humiliated her, now standing humbly before her. "Your family's debt is significant, Mr. Thorne," Julia stated, her voice cool and professional, a polished weapon. "Why should I, the woman you left crying alone at graduation, risk my company's future to save yours?" Billy swallowed hard, his gaze fixed on the floor, radiating palpable shame. "I deserve your contempt, Julia. I won't pretend otherwise. Use me as you see fit. But this isn't just my legacy. It's my younger sister's future, and she's an innocent victim in this financial mess." Julia felt a dangerous flicker of sympathy, but brutally suppressed it under layers of old pain. "I will help you," she decided, crossing her arms, "but the terms are non-negotiable. You will transfer 51% ownership to my firm effective immediately, and for 6 months you will report directly to me and follow my every directive without question." Billy hesitated, the pride of the Thorne name fighting with desperation. "I accept. But why such severe terms, Julia? Financial control is enough." Julia allowed a slow, cold smile to bloom on her face. "Because, Billy, payback is a beautiful thing. And now you work for me, and I own your future." Billy, now her subordinate, moved into Julia's corporate world, occupying the sterile office adjacent to hers. Their proximity was constant, intense, and deeply awkward, a perpetual minefield of unresolved history. He was meticulous and brilliant, fulfilling every task with total, painful efficiency. But he avoided eye contact, radiating a visible, palpable shame that made his expensive suit look like a hair shirt. Julia found her planned revenge, the cold commands, the forced meetings, tasted profoundly hollow. She wanted him to hurt, but his deep-seated self-contempt was worse than any punishment she could devise. One evening, she found him late in the office, not working, but sitting rigidly, staring blankly at a wall. "Go home, Billy," she ordered softly, her voice betraying her professional shield. He turned, his eyes full of despair and deep loneliness. "Home is empty, Julia. The only life I ever truly wanted, the only person who saw me before the title, I threw away years ago, and I carry that regret every second." His raw expectation shocked her, tearing down her last defense. "Why?" she asked, abandoning her professional shield entirely. "Why did you reject me that night? I thought you liked me." Billy closed his eyes, his breathing ragged with suppressed emotion. "I did, more than anything. I swear I didn't mean to hurt you. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, and I won't apologize until I can tell you the whole, ugly truth." The intense and forced proximity and his genuine regret slowly but surely chipped away at Julia's armor. She began to notice small, telling details about the man she thought she hated. He never ate lunch, despite working grueling hours, and he had a series of faint, white scars just above his left wrist, scars that seemed too clinical to be accidental. One day, during a long strategy session, Julia's hand accidentally brushed his over a blueprint. Billy flinched violently, pulling away instantly, his eyes flashing with a pain that went beyond embarrassment. "Don't," he muttered, his voice harsh and self-loathing. "I don't deserve your touch, Julia." His extreme reaction felt like a massive alarm bell. Later, while reviewing budget sheets, Julia found his personal medical file, left carelessly open by his assistant, perhaps by fate, on his desk. The files weren't about stress or diet. They detailed a history of rare, aggressive cancer. Her world tilted violently. The cruel rejection, the deep, constant pain in his eyes, the strange scars, it all clicked into a devastating, tragic pattern. The rejection wasn't arrogance or spite. It was a desperate, self-sacrificing act of protection. He had brutally pushed her away at 18 because he thought he was dying and wanted to spare her the grief. He didn't scorn her. He risked her hatred to protect her heart. Julia waited until the office was empty, the settings silent, the air heavy with impending fate. She cornered Billy in the boardroom, the medical file clutched in her hand like a verdict. "The cancer, Billy. Tell me the truth. All of it." Billy paled, sinking into a chair, all his immense corporate strength draining away instantly. He finally confessed everything. 7 years ago, he was secretly diagnosed with a terminal illness just days before graduation. "I loved you, Julia, more than I had ever loved anyone. I was going to ask you to prom, to date me, to build a future, but I couldn't bear the thought of making you fall completely in love with me, only to die 6 months later." He explained that he chose the cruel, quick rejection to ensure she hated him enough to move on easily, preserving her future and saving her from agonizing, prolonged grief. "I survived, Julia. The experimental treatment worked, but it left scars. I've been completely cured for 5 years now. But by the time I was well and ready to face the world, you were already gone. A success, and I didn't have the courage to crawl back into your life." Tears streamed down Julia's face, transforming her 7 years of carefully preserved hatred into profound sorrow and overwhelming absolute love. The pain of the past was finally healed by the truth of his immense, tragic sacrifice. The shame and carefully cultivated anger were utterly gone, replaced by a devastating absolute love and profound relief. Julia walked around the boardroom table, dropping the medical file onto the polished surface, a symbol of the burden now lifted, and knelt before Billy. "You didn't reject me, Billy," she whispered, tears blurring her vision. "You protected me. You broke both our hearts because you loved me too much to let me suffer." Billy wept openly, pulling her into a fierce, desperate embrace, the first real physical contact since that crushing rejection 7 years ago. The kiss was fueled by years of agonizing silence and lost love, a fierce, tender convergence of two people finally reunited after a medical tragedy. "I have no words, Julia," he choked out against her mouth, his voice ragged. "I can only beg for your forgiveness and a second chance." "You have it," she whispered, pulling him closer, kneading the solid reality of his body. The sterile boardroom, the revenge contract, the 51% ownership, it all vanished. Only the intense, honest love between them remained, a bond forged in fire and finally healed by absolute truth.
The intimacy that followed was an act of sacred reunion and profound emotional release. They retreated to Billy's private apartment, shedding the expensive clothes and the heavy burdens of 7 years of agonizing separation. The passion was fierce, tender, and intensely emotional, a final absolute confirmation that their love was real, not just a ghost of the past. Billy was worshipful, gentle, and utterly devoted, whispering apologies and reassurances against her skin, making up for every second lost to fear. Julia surrendered completely, realizing that she had been fighting not him, but fate itself. In the quiet aftermath, Billy placed his head on her abdomen, his arms wrapping tightly around her. "I wasted so much time, Julia," he murmured. "I want every second back. I want to build a family with you. I want our future to start right now." Julia knew the answer was yes. They made a silent, unconditional contract, built on truth, trust, and the profound certainty that their love was meant to be. Their reunion was immediately threatened by the external world they had temporarily forgotten. Billy's sister, witnessing the hostile takeover of the company by Julia and now seeing their intense emotional connection, grew deeply suspicious. She had been secretly working with Billy's biggest corporate rival, Victor Sterling, intending to sabotage the takeover and seize power herself. Victor, realizing Billy had regained his motivation and Julia's fierce loyalty, launched a cruel public attack. He leaked information about Billy's private medical history, the cancer, painting him as weak, unstable, and unfit to run the company. The media frenzy was immediate and vicious. Julia and Billy realized their redemption story was about to be weaponized against them. "He's trying to make me look like I'm lying about my health to the board," Billy said, his face pale with fear. "This is Victor's final play, Julia. He's coming for us both." Julia, now Billy's partner in every sense, took charge with cool, focused resolve. She recognized Victor's ruthlessness and devised a plan rooted in absolute, liberating honesty. They would confront Victor publicly, before the board vote that would finalize Julia's 51% ownership. Julia didn't fire Victor, she exposed him. She presented irrefutable evidence, leaked documents showing Victor had sold company secrets to rivals, and then, looking directly at the board, she revealed their own truth. Billy's battle with cancer is real. His honesty and his survival prove his strength, not his weakness. We, as a unified family, will protect this company and its legacy. Billy stood by her side, his gaze filled with awe and profound pride at her courage. The board, shocked by Victor's betrayal and deeply moved by Julia's conviction, sided with them. Victor was ruined, and their partnership was secured by the power of their shared truth. Billy officially stepped back from the CEO role, willingly appointing Julia as the visionary leader of their merged company, a decision based on her superior ability to manage risk and his unwavering trust in her. He dedicated his time to a foundation supporting cancer survivors, honoring his own journey. 1 year later, Billy led Julia back to the spot where he had brutally rejected her 7 years ago, the rooftop terrace of their old high school. He knelt, not in shame or apology, but in love, presenting a beautiful platinum ring. "I rejected you here because I thought I was protecting you. Now I know the truth. You are my protection, my strength, and my survival." Julia, tears streaming down her face, accepted the proposal. They married quietly, their love story a testament to forgiveness, second chances, and profound redemption. They proved that the pain of the past could be healed by the truth, and the greatest love is always worth waiting for, securing their future as equal partners in love and in life.
Which part of the plot, the hidden illness or the surprise betrayal by Victor, gave you the most emotional suspense? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want more second chance romances and redemption stories, please like this video and subscribe for more videos like this.